The Colorado River is running drier than scientists once believed. Lake Mojave is dropping for endangered fish. Utah's reservoirs are vanishing at double the normal pace, and toxic air is rising from the Tijuana River sewage crisis. From drought to desalination, this week's water stories show just how much is at stake for the West.
Let's begin with Utah, where the state's reservoirs are draining twice as fast as normal. By late August, statewide storage dropped to 67%, well below last year's 83%. The Great Salt Lake also fell 2 feet since spring, down to 4,191.6 feet of elevation. Officials say the hot summer and heavy demand are pushing the system to its limits. Utah's Department of Natural Resources is urging conservation, with programs like Slow the Flow and new tools for farmers to stretch every drop. In New Mexico, residents and tribes now have a chance to shape state water rules. The Environment Department opened a 60-day comment period on possible updates to surface water regulations. These reviews, called triennial reviews, happen every 3 years under the Clean Water Act. Changes could include new water quality standards, site-specific protections, or even designations for outstanding national resource waters. A hearing before the Water Quality Control Commission is expected by the end of 2025. North in Jackson, Wyoming, the town council passed an emergency ordinance to conserve water and protect against fire danger. Sprinklers are restricted, though drip irrigation and hand watering are still allowed. But despite these rules, local reports show irrigation use is creeping back up, stressing the system overnight. Violators face fines of up to $750 a day. New research from the University of Colorado Boulder reveals human-caused climate change is making the Colorado River megadrought worse than thought. Scientists found the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, a natural cycle that usually flips every decade or two, has been stuck in a drought-inducing phase since the 1990s. Human greenhouse gas emissions are partly to blame. This means both rising heat and reduced rainfall are tightening the river's water supply. With Lake Mead and Lake Powell near historic lows, researchers warn drought has become the region's new normal. The Bureau of Reclamation is lowering Lake Mojave, not because of shortage, but to protect endangered fish. Each fall, biologists collect razorback sucker larvae, raise them in hatcheries, and return them with microchips for tracking. The drawdown will last until October, dropping the lake by about 5.5 feet. Boaters are urged to use caution as shallow areas become more hazardous. NASA has launched a new satellite tool called SARAH-CONUS. It combines Landsat and Sentinel-2 imagery with machine learning to track water levels in 1,900 reservoirs every few days. The data is public and shows remarkable accuracy compared to on-the-ground gauges. This could be a game-changer for drought planning, irrigation, and flood management across the United States. Community efforts to save the Great Salt Lake are gaining momentum. A nonprofit called Grow the Flow is uniting lawmakers, scientists, and citizens to restore water to the lake. Their initiatives include drafting water policy, supporting research, and mobilizing public action. Events like the Great Salt Lake People's Summit and even a concert called Salty Jams are rallying support for solutions. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency announced $9 million in grants to help large water utilities guard against cyber threats and natural disasters. A new report stresses that drinking water systems are increasingly vulnerable to hackers. The grants will fund training, infrastructure upgrades, and cybersecurity measures to protect both water quality and public safety. In Colorado, emergency releases from Elkhead Reservoir have kept the Yampa River flowing during an exceptionally dry summer. More than 1,700 acre-feet of water has been released to support farmers and endangered fish. Without it, sections of the river might have run completely dry. Local ranchers say the extra flows made the difference between harvesting hay or losing the crop. In California's Delta, the Metropolitan Water District is leasing land to farming partners to grow rice. On Webb Tract, rice farming is helping fight land subsidence and restore wetlands. On Bacon Island, Lundberg family farms will transition thousands of acres to regenerative rice agriculture. Alongside water management, these projects are designed to boost sustainability, capture carbon, and provide new bird habitat. Arizona's Water Infrastructure Finance Authority has received 6 formal proposals to import water. Options include ocean desalination, surface water transfers, wastewater reuse, and other innovative supplies. The state will now review engineering, financial, and permitting details before deciding which projects may advance. Leaders say the goal is to secure Arizona's water future with long-term augmentation. In Southern California, the Tijuana River sewage disaster has a new dimension: air pollution. A study found toxic hydrogen sulfide gas in San Diego neighborhoods at levels thousands of times above typical urban air. Residents report respiratory problems and stress from constant foul odors. On August 28th, the U.S. EPA and Mexico announced a major treatment plant expansion and new cross-border agreements. Capacity at the South Bay facility jumped by 40% in just 100 days, with more projects on the way. Still, scientists say both water and air pollution must be solved for long-term relief. The U.S. Drought Monitor shows worsening conditions in parts of New England and stubborn drought across much of the West. Arizona was hit by a dramatic Haboob storm with winds up to 70 miles per hour, but overall, the state remains parched. Colorado saw modest improvement in central regions, while Wyoming continues to face some of the most severe shortages in the basin. Officials warn that while rains brought temporary relief, the larger trend remains one of aridification.
And before we wrap up, let's take a moment for your comments. YouTube's wrote about Lake Mead, saying water needs are simply greater than the supply. You're exactly right, demand is too high. But science also shows that warming temperatures are reducing snowpack and runoff, so it's really both overuse and climate change driving the decline. And Rosalie asked why desalination is not being discussed more. Great point. California and Arizona are both looking at desalination, including potential partnerships with Mexico. But because it's costly and energy intensive, experts say it can only be a supplement, not a complete solution for the Colorado River.
That's this week's Western Water Weekly. For more information about these stories, visit westernwater.com, where we post water news Monday through Saturday. If you found these updates helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe.